we are in wonderful Uganda, going over the solar breatharian message, bringing it down to earth. And once it's brought down to earth, people understand it more. Now you can say hi. She's getting her group together. She's fascinated with the knowledge. But you can see she's already been on a journey, fasting, all this other good stuff. Now we're learning about meditation, energy cultivation, a whole 9 yards. So we're going to get this group together so we can keep on allowing people to understand what this is about to bring it down to earth. So peace and blessings. Had the best day ever. Love you. Lolo. Here we are in wonderful Uganda, and I'm sitting here with Dr. Greg. And Dr. Greg, holistic practitioner, well, you can introduce the things you do, dealing with holistic health, acupuncture, all of that good stuff. But anyway, we're here to talk about the next level of the solar breatharian knowledge. He magnetized to it, and of course I'm living it. It magnetized me, and it's catching a lot of attention. But we want to take it from its myth to its reality, take the fad out of it, and really bring it down to earth. So right now, Dr. Greg is going to ask some real good questions and taking it to another level, the whys. Here you go.
All right, Elitom. So, as we were discussing before we started filming, is I get the physics, I get the dynamics, the beginning of that you're, instead of feeding on food, you are feeding on something.
Right.
And what that something is an energy. And if I am correct, it's thermal. It's heat related. Or
Well,
is it more? Maybe you'll
because when we deal with thermodynamics, because we always say that this message is the laws of physics. So thermodynamics is just one component. But we also got the chemical energy, we got the electromagnetic energy, we got the piezoelectric effect. You're also being affected by gravity. All of this goes into effect because the body is under the laws of physics all the time. So what the practitioner is doing is basically learning more about how your body relates to it, and you're living a lifestyle where you're taking it more to the cutting edge. So even dealing with body structure, you're actually aligning yourself with the laws of physics that will cause changes dealing with frequency, vibration, and energy. So this is what we're talking about. It's the whole dynamics of it. But thermodynamics, I'm glad you brought that up, dealing with the heat. That means a lot when it comes down to healing yourself.
Right. But it is on the right path to say that you are feeding, but your food is not the food the way most of us may know it. It is still food,
right?
But in the form of many different, right? All these other.
Well, let's take that
components.
word eating, because we even got when a person's fasting, their body's eating itself. But what does that mean, or what we eat externally? Eating is basically we're devouring something. We are crunching something up. That's why they say your digestive system starts in your mouth. So you're working with the mechanical energy, breaking something down. And you're working with the chemical energy because you got different proteins and enzymes in your saliva that's actually breaking the food down. So eating is just a breaking down effect. We're breaking something down so our body can transform it into something else. Oh man, this is good. So that's eating. But when you're dealing with eating, ingestion deals with the mouth.
Right.
So we're dealing with the food of eating and drinking, but the third part is the absorption. The third part is the absorption. So a lot of people don't understand that part, but your body is also absorbing its food or its energy. Because the reason why we're eating is for energy. So we're going through the ingestion, then it goes to the digestion. That's like the second phase. And that's where your body is breaking the food down even more into something it could get rid of more into a liquid state. So it could get the energy from it. Now keep in mind that when a person is eating on that type of level, 99.9% of what they ate is actually going to turn into waste. So is that energy efficient? This is what we're saying. This is why the solar breatharian, being on this knowledge, you're looking for more energy efficiency.
So, ingesting the energy from the atmosphere in all the different ways that you do
Right.
is much more efficient.
Absolutely. Just like nuclear energy in a power plant is more efficient than fossil fuels. You know, giving off less waste, you get more out of it. Less entropy. Instead of losing energy, you're getting more out of it.
Now let's go to the why. Why is it important to me more efficient?
Oh man. Well, let's bring the number one thing up: health. We call it health, but it's just dealing with energy efficiency. You're living your life. Everything you do, your thought, your sight, you speak, you walk, uses energy. So you want to live a life getting more out of it, just like a bank account. I want to get more out of my money than wasting more of it. I hope this is making sense. It's
So
the same thing.
it has it's healing as well.
Yep, it's a
So in
currency.
other words, we're going to be healthier for longer.
And the root word of health is heal. So you're constantly healing every day from everything, which you're basically old cells that are weak or dying off,
Yeah.
and the new ones is taking its place. So we're constantly going through that process all the time. So again, that's an efficiency in doing that.
Would you also concur that it is less taxing on the organs?
Oh,
Therefore,
absolutely.
your organs are going to last longer?
Absolutely. It's just like somebody just made the Guinness Book of World Records. They got a car that went 2 million kilometers. And I don't know how much that is in miles, but the old person that had it, they had to buy miles. His car did 1 million miles in the Guinness Book of World Records. But they asked him a good question. They said many cars came off the assembly line that same year. Why did yours make it that long, doing that many miles, and all the other cars ain't even on the road no more? But he said, I followed the instruction manual. I did what the instruction manual said. When I did a certain level of miles, I changed the tires, because that's what it said. When I did a certain level of miles, I changed the oil. I didn't wait till the oil light come on. I didn't wait till the tires got bald. So the average person usually go check on their health when they feel something is wrong, instead of doing preventive maintenance. Preventive
But
medicine.
then that leads me to the next question. Would it be, obviously being preventative is the best medicine,
There it is.
but would it also be medicine as well if somebody is not well and they wanted to take the concepts that you're teaching
Absolutely.
in order to heal? Is that also applicable?
Absolutely, because that is medicine. See, we're teaching meditation is medication, and every time you do a qigong or get your body in a relaxation state, you just took a dose of medicine. That's just how we're teaching it. Energy medicine, frequency medicine, and there's one article online that says it's the medicine of the future. That's what they're saying, and it all makes sense because it's already here. But the solar breatharian knowledge is just ahead of its time. It's medicine right now.
Okay. All right. Because, there's two types of people. There's the type of person that are much more physically, what they see is their reality.
Right. There was a movie that started out like that. There's two types of people. All right, go ahead.
What's the name of that movie?
I'm trying to think of it, but it was.
So there's a type of person that, their reality is what their senses pick up.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a type of person that they think, let's say they think out of the box, or their reality is not so much what they see,
Right.
but it's what they feel, or what they conceive
Outside
to
the
be
box.
outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say we're addressing the outside the box thinkers, okay? Because you've done so many videos that have addressed in the box people to bring them to a certain point of understanding. But there's a whole group of people that get it,
Right.
that have maybe watched a couple of videos and they got it. Like,
Right.
they want that next, hey, okay, I get it, that there's a spiritual physics. Just because we can't see it doesn't mean it's not reality.
Right.
And all of this makes sense to me. Can you please take me to the next level? Right? And that's where I wanted to
This is
have
good.
our starting point. Let me just open the forum like that then, without even a question.
Right.
And then let you just take it from there, and then I'll conjure up some good questions as you're speaking.
All right, absolutely.
Okay.
All right, now this is good. You got most videos is leading a person up to it, because the Western mind wasn't used to this. Actually dealing with something you can't see, taste, or smell. So at first, when the message first came out, it shocked a lot of people. But since humanity is getting more educated, and we are collectively, now when we use that term, you got an electromagnetic field on your body, everybody's used to it now. Before they couldn't see it because a lot of people didn't know that, but now everybody knows that. So it makes it easier to teach. But now, to take it to the next level, back in 1983, just to regress a little bit, the Monroe Institute in America actually did a study, the CIA, on what takes place when you're meditating. So this was good. They even went classified for 20 years. It came back out in 2003. And right now it's 2023, 40 years later. But when I look back on it, they was hitting it right on the head on what we're teaching now. So this knowledge been here. It didn't get to a lot of people yet. So anyway, and I like how they said it. Logic will only take you part of the way, even though it's necessary. Somebody's explaining to you, walking is good for you. But you'd be surprised you got to convince somebody, walking is good for you. But once you get through that phase, well, I guess it is. But the next thing is they have to do it to take themselves to the next level. See, discipline and self-discipline is two different things. Like, there is people who go to work, don't miss no days of work. They feel they're needed and all this other stuff. But doing things on their own is a whole different ballgame. So that's why usually being with the group, if you want to go faster, you go alone. But if you want to go further, you go with the group. So usually a retreat helps people, being with people with like mind, to boost that up in them. But to take the practice on your own, to really cultivate yourself, that's a whole nother mindset, but that's what we're trying to develop in the people now. And then that's what take you into the next level, because you're going into experience.
And if I may add, the whole point isn't to become a breatharian overnight.
Right.
The whole idea, the idea is not even to become a breatharian.
Right.
A breatharian is something that would be by default of getting to a higher level, but it's not the goal.
Thank you so much. All it is a byproduct of how well you're working with energy.
So everybody's going to have a different level, different comfort level, a different level that they'll achieve. But so it's not an all or nothing.
It's not all or nothing. And all or nothing don't make you a breatharian. See, it's awesome if you ate once a week. It's awesome if you ate once every 3 days. It's awesome if you took a time out. I know a guy who basically, he did fluids for like 6 months out of the year, which is awesome. We never heard of that. But this other half, he's with his family somewhere else in Florida. He chooses to do that. So that's actually a level of breatharian to condition yourself on that type of level and still be healthy and functional. See, when we look at that word starvation, that's just the word that says the organism is not getting enough energy to function. Because there's people that actually starved even though they were still eating. They died because of starvation. They wasn't getting enough energy. And I bring that up because there was a woman eating fruits and vegetables only, because we've been programmed to think that's how you get your energy. But what we're saying is the best way to get your energy is through meditation. Oh, this is good, because the relaxation response again of the body brings more energy to it. And how do we notice? We all do it when we sleep at night, when we take a nap. you actually are regenerating, getting more energy through meditation, but that's called unconscious meditation. When you start consciously doing it and understand the concept, that's actually how the primary source of how your
So-
body get more energy.
What's the one thing, the one takeaway that I can, in other words, I can't consume it all right now, all the
Right.
information. But if I wanted one thing that I can focus on in order to start energizing my body through the Breatharian method
Right.
and start to create my happy medium, what would be my one thing that I can do?
Oh, the system is helping us actually. The big thing now is diet and exercise. That's the first and second initiation of spirituality. And then, because a lot of people aren't used to meditation, because you think I'll say meditation first, but we are in an age where energy work is more all over the place right now. People are learning more about their energetic anatomy, learning that they do have one, for instance. So even when I take a person through a retreat, you're basically allowing them to feel their own energy, and they've done it. I didn't give it to you, you already got it.
Is there a way that we will know that we're actually deriving energy?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, is there a barometer? Is there a measure? Is there a way that I can measure? And how
Absolutely.
will I know if I'm not just meditating and eating, but I'm meditating and, let's say, eating less? How will I know when my meditation in the Breatharian method is working?
Oh, this is good. Now, I'm a true believer that if something is not working, we either got to look at it, tweak it to make it work, or if it's not working at all, let's get rid of it, because that's wasting time. So what we want to do is, how do we know that we're feeding more off of life force energy? I'm going to use that word.
That's exactly what I meant.
Now, for number one, you start getting more energy. You can say, I feel more energized than before. Sort of like a person that was a couch potato, they start walking every day, and over a period of time, I do have more energy now than before.
So an affirmation. Okay.
And then you'll sleep less, because you'll be more energized, because sleep is just for brain health. But if you're feeling more healthier, you'll sleep less. So that will kick in. Number two, you'll have clearer thinking, better cognitive thinking. You'll be able to look through your actions and behaviors a lot more clearly than before, instead of just being robotic. You'll be able to.
And these are the ways that I'll measure.
And then last but not least, you'll get healthier. You'll know it. Your eyes will get clearer. Your skin will start feeling better. Not only you'll feel more energized, you'll feel a lot more happy. See, like when we use that word vibration, and our bodies vibrate just like all physical matter. The rules still apply. How do you know you have a high vibration? Well, what they say, because they say we use 4 bodies in this realm. The average person just know the physical, but we do got an emotional body, if we want to say, a mental body, and an energetic body. So these 4 bodies, when they all line up, how do you know they're lined up and they're vibrating higher? Well, first of all, to say you'll feel better and more energetic in all of those bodies. So not only in your physical body, have you ever, like, you wasn't physically tired, but you were mentally tired?
Yes.
Or emotionally disturbed, even
Yes.
though the physical body looked it on. So when all of them are aligned and they're at a higher vibration, all of them will feel lighter.
So if there's 4 bodies, kind of the way I see it is that, you know those books where you have plastic, and each, they're clear,
Yeah,
and there's a drawing on each, right? So there'd be the physical body,
right.
then you put maybe another piece of plastic in it, and it has, well, let's say it's a house, right?
Yeah.
The analogy is a house. So maybe you have the structure of the house, the actual physical house,
Right.
and then you might have some furniture. Then you have another page,
Yep.
and it's appliances in the kitchen,
Right.
stuff like that. So there'd be 4, all happening and all existing at the same time.
At the same time, aligned. That's what we mean by alignment.
Yes, and I didn't want to make this a religious conversation.
Right.
But going to my Jewish roots and understanding the Zohar, the Kabbalah, the way I do, or Hasidut,
Right.
as it's called, you are familiar with some of these terms, is that there's 4 worlds. And those 4 worlds are happening at the same time.
At the same time.
So then maybe there's a connection with the 4 bodies?
Absolutely.
And the 4 worlds, the same way that the chakras are the same with the spherot.
Right.
That there's the connection. So,
Here we go. I love it.
yeah, okay, take off. Go ahead.
And when we align all of them, and you ask the question, how do you know? You'll feel lighter in all of them.
So you're not giving anything, you're removing the interference.
You're removing interference.
So in that removing the interference starts to create the alignment and the balance.
Absolutely.
Am I on it?
So you're really not gaining more energy. You're releasing blockages. You got all the energy you need.
Sounds like my chiropractic philosophy.
Yeah.
I'm not giving the body anything when I adjust them. I'm removing the interference so that the nerves can transmit the message from the brain
Here
to
we
all
go.
the organs.
See, the knowledge is already here. Once you start describing it, most people I meet, whatever profession they in, they can relate to it. They could be even working on a car engine.
Right.
They'll start relating to it.
Right.
So it's already here because we are energy beings. That's all we do. Whether you realize it or not, that's all we do.
But it sounds like what we know to be normal is not efficient.
Exactly. Because you're dealing with something you
So
can't
I
see,
have
taste,
another
or
why
smell.
question.
All right.
Why are we in a world, and why is our default inefficient?
Due to our perception. Somewhere along the way, we got a perception. Like on one level, not to get religious or anything, the average person look at us as being in a material world. But in my thought process, we're already in the energy world or the spiritual world. This is the spiritual realm. So that changes the ball game because, like they say, when a person thinks that they're in a physical body and it really can't move or adjust, they're living in a nightmare compared to somebody know that this can be transformed, it can move, and it's sort of
kind of like the Flash. I don't know
Exactly.
if you've seen the show, but when he wants to go through a wall, he vibrates his cells really
fast.
and he goes through the wall, so that we have all these other levels to our physical body.
All these other levels. But that's a perception to make you start realizing this. And going back to how do you know you're at a higher vibration, you will have little or no aches and pains in the physical body. And your emotions will be at ease.
So that's the measure.
That's the barometer.
That's the barometer. Okay, I got it. And could I also say part of the barometer is that you find that intermittent fasting or fasting more or eating less becomes more normal?
Oh, I like how you said that.
More
Now,
the new norm.
Yeah,
for
more the
for
new
a healthy
norm.
person.
He who eat less live longer. That rule will start coming in effect. Now, I like how the system did use that term, intermittent fasting, not just to make everybody aware. However, you know what I call it? Intermittent eating. Just like drinking
You just
water.
Twist the perception.
You just twist the perception. It's intermittent eating. It at least make people aware. All right, you don't have to do the 3 meals a day. You can go through the day, but have this time period where you'll eat. So it's getting people aware that you can do this.
Okay.
And then there's some people who break it down to eat 1 meal a day. I used to know a man I was growing up with. We thought it was weird, but now it makes total sense. He outlived everybody. He just ate 1 meal a day.
Okay, I have another why question.
All right.
When a baby is born and comes into this world, it needs to eat
Absolutely.
and drink. That is the default mechanism of a newborn.
Yes.
So then would it be fair to say that the test of that human soul over the course of its life is to now gain or grow or become more spiritual from that initial default setting?
Yep, to develop. if we were to use that word, to develop. So just like the physical body had a chance to develop, we all see it. Babies start growing teeth, pretty soon they start walking, pretty soon they start talking, just like anything else. So dealing with our energy body or our soul, that needs to develop. But the baby is no longer a baby, so it could take responsibility because the mother and father can't develop it for you. It could show you the way in his lifestyle as it's growing up, but it's up to the person to develop their spirit or their energy. And that's where it's dealing with. Oh man, this is good.
So the secrets of longevity is something that we need to attain.
Mm-hmm. Right. Not just
we have
given.
to work for it.
Right. Because you're living your life, you're giving energy and you're using energy. So in other words, most people get energetically bankrupt because you want to spend the energy, but you ain't got it. And that's basically what it's dealing with. So basically what humanity is eating the dense foods and they're all stuck on it like that. All it is, food is an energy source, but it's being abused. It's a lower energy source. Humanity just been abusing it. So when they understand that, okay, let me back up from abusing this and be more responsible and understand there's alternatives. This is a whole nother ballgame. So you can start developing yourself towards the other direction and lighten up on the other one. I hope this makes sense.
It's starting to sink in. All right, I got a doozy for you.
Mm-hmm.
I think. For those who know what the law of attraction is.
Right.
I'm not even going to explain it. Either you do or you don't. Okay? For those who've maybe read the book or understand that energetically when you think or pray or put energy into something, you manifest something in the future. That's just maybe why you could say positive thoughts produce positive outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
Power of positive thinking, law of attraction, however you want to box that. How would you explain the law of attraction in terms of being a Breatharian?
Oh, this is a big one.
Is it a doozy?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Because this is what people usually go through. I went through it and other people called me, what's going on? And they thought it was some type of demon. I'll explain it to you. It's sort of like a person that wanted to stop drinking. Then all of a sudden they stopped, but all of a sudden their friends or a stranger want to buy them a drink. I'm just bringing this up. Or they want to stop smoking and they find a whole pack of cigarettes for some reason. So when you're dealing with food and you're trying to leave it alone like that, it seems like more start coming to you for some reason. And I even had a bike trip one time where I didn't have no water with me, but I'm finding whole bottles of water, whole bottles of Gatorade on the road, and I'm saying, what is this? Why is it following me? Now they say your subconscious create 95% of your reality. So even though you could consciously try to let something go, if it's still in your subconscious, the program, that's still coming to you, and that's what people don't understand.
You're still attracting.
You're still attracting.
Even though you're not consciously attracting, 95% of you is still attracting.
Why is this still happening? It's like it's following me. So that's why meditation, again, is so important, because you're releasing that thought process that's going through your body. You're at least challenging it so you can put a new thought in there to take its place. If not, that old program is still going to be coming at you. So it's sort of like they say in the Kabbalah, when they use that word, what is a person? And a person is ego, or ego is a person. But what is the ego? It's a program. So everybody has this program in them. So that program is the one that's attracting, period.
And then as humans, because we are higher beings, we have the ability to affect, let me use another language, remove the obstacles in our programming.
Absolutely. Because it's sort of like how they say in the Kabbalah again. To use an example, say this little piece right here. This is a person. Over here is the atmosphere, but it's actually a consciousness. It has all-knowing, everything, unlimited. But when it comes through the device, which is the person, the program, it's going to go off of that program. So what comes out on the other side is your life. Your life is going according to that program. Just like a computer, we're biocomputers. So you must get in there and change the program. The energy is there. But as it's coming through, if you change the program, then it changes how your life is coming out on the other end.
I get it. I get that. It's like a magnifying glass of the sun, and then the sun has all, and then all of a sudden that magnifying, and then it can burn something on the ground.
And it comes straight out.
And then that's the program, because if you put a different color or you tilt that glass,
Right.
it's going to have a different program.
Here we go.
Am I right?
Exactly. It is like that with everything.
But we have the ability, the power to tilt that program.
Here
change
we go.
That.
Yep.
We have this, and we do so via meditation.
Yep. Because meditation at least give you a chance to look at your thoughts. That's a time period where you can see your thoughts. You can witness it.
So I did something, I never mentioned this to you as well. I did mention to you that I did silver mind control as a kid, which is focusing energy. It's a whole nother topic. I forgot where I was going with this, but
And we just did that in California. Somebody had a class doing it. Silver mind.
yeah, and the power. We have the power to look at our thoughts.
Yep.
And see them.
And see them.
It's called, I did something when I was in college called Landmark, the Landmark Forum. I think even before it was that, it was called EST or ESP. I can't remember. The point being is that instead of the program coming into your head and you reacting like you're reacting.
Right.
You get to see the program happening, you step back, you watch it, and you don't react. Or you react in a different way than you normally would.
Yep.
Let's say it's to be angry.
Yep.
Right? Or whatever it is. So instead of having it come at you, you kind of have it go here and you see it, and then you now make a decision on how you want to react.
Yep.
Instead of just reacting like a program,
Yep.
the power
Now it's in your hands.
to now react differently.
Yep. It's just like last night. When I sat down at the table, you said, this food ain't bothering you, is it? Now, what it is, I meditated so much that was a meditation. That food to me is just a thought. But it's just going past my face, and I don't have to respond to it. So you gain control over it.
Right.
Before, it was a response, because you're part of it. It's like an invisible chain.
Right.
But you meditated so much,
But when I
that is
picked
a
up that
thought.
steak and went like this, did it do it?
I said, look at this thought coming through.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So, speaking for myself, I know that I want to be healthier.
Right.
I know I want longevity. And I know I like eating. I also enjoy it. Which
Right.
I think a lot of people would do. But I also know that I eat too much.
Right.
And what I would like to achieve, and maybe other people in the audience would relate to me, maybe in that way I'm even more relatable.
Right.
Because you're the guru on this subject, and you're all the way to you're polarized, right? You're all the way to one side.
Right.
So for me, I would like to improve. Yeah, I see myself as wanting to become more like you, but not exactly like you.
Exactly.
Is that fair?
Yeah. Exactly. Because we're
So
all
that
one
maybe
being.
I'll still enjoy my food,
Right.
but I'll eat less, less energy, or less taxing my organs, giving me more longevity,
Right.
healthier.
All this good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man. Now.
So, is it to say, would that be the most, or one of the more relatable?
That's
subject
relatable,
matter?
realistic.
And realistic.
It's realistic. Because that's how you want to make it realistic.
And would that be part of your goal, as now that you're teaching what you do? You're not trying to make everyone little breatharians,
Absolutely not.
but you're trying to, as I recall,
Get everybody healthier.
get everybody healthier and improve the state of the world.
Exactly. Healthier world,
I'm on
healthy
it.
thinking, and we live in a better world.
live in a better world as a result.
Man, this is good. And we want to bring it down to earth because, everybody want to be healthier, but getting there is a whole different ball game. So what we try to teach people too is don't beat up on yourself trying to make that happen. I see that happen so much. And it causes more pain than anything else. But at least you start out doing things you know you can handle. Know that's sustainable. So even when somebody say, how do I become a breatharian? Where do I start out? And I'll say, well, try fasting once a week. And that blows their mind because that's not a breatharian. How am I supposed to start there? I want to just go all the way out and put tape on my mouth.
But
that's not it.
What people are now are very familiar with the term intermittent fasting. In the
and it traveled quick too.
And travel quick, and people are grabbing on the same way that any diet modification has taken on in times, and maybe this is this period of time. Would it be fair to say that intermittent eating or fasting would be stage 1?
That's stage 1.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And if that is stage 1, and breatharian full is stage 10, what would stage 5 look like?
Stage 5?
What would the middle ground look like?
Oh, the middle ground is when you have at least the 5 pillars hooked up. Well, you at least have a fasting routine. Now, what I say by that, even though we got intermittent fasting, I tell people, well, at least get your body in a cycle too where it could do 24 hours. All right, you got that time period once a day. Get to the level 2 where you could take that one day a week, sort of like your own personal Sabbath or your own personal Shabbat. Because when you give your body that 24-hour cycle, other things take place. So that'll better your health. So you got that. Get you a good exercise routine at least 3 times a week. Get that heart beating. Get that blood flowing. That's a whole different ball game on how it's going to make you feel. And then to get that thought process together. Really looking at, because they got a thing called mental fasting. It's a little small booklet, but it's well known around the planet. And mental fasting is a lot tougher than physical fasting. When you start actually looking at why are you thinking negatively, see that negative thought. So that's a lot of work that a person can start doing. So getting that thought process together. And last but not least is, okay, you love to eat, but what am I eating? How often? And yes, treat yourself, but don't overdo it. So you start, how should I say, you don't want to make it too strict, but do something differently before. And we got so many alternative foods out there now. Man, take your pick. In other words, if you don't want to eat the ice cream that have too much mucus in it, if we want to say that, or not mucus, the lactose in it or whatever, we got other alternatives to taste just as good. So we got all this stuff taking place where you could make viable changes, and you will see it all start taking place. And what will happen when you see yourself transform? Before I learned about the breatharian knowledge, I was already in a holistic lifestyle. And the reason why I knew that it was time for me to go into it and I could pull it off, because I already transformed myself just from a basic holistic lifestyle. There was a time I was overweight and everything else. High blood pressure, body hurting.
Really?
Yeah.
Can a breatharian also not exercise and not do some of the other things that you mentioned, like, or do they kind of have to go hand in hand?
Well, when you're dealing with energy efficiency, you want to use the energy resources that you have going for you, because it's just like anything in life. If you could tap into that energy resource, but don't expect this to happen. You know where I'm getting at? If you just expect this is
so
what
the results will be less
it's just
gratifying.
Right, it's just like if a person start playing a musical instrument, one person practice once a week, one practice 3 times a week, and one practice 6 times a week. We can put our money on who's going to have a better concert in a year.
Right.
Right. Oh, man.
Okay, as a breatharian, for yourself, practicing the way you do, what is your personal goal? And I don't mean for the masses. I'm talking for yourself.
Oh man.
What do you want to achieve by being so disciplined?
Oh man. You got time for this?
I don't know. Ask the audience.
First of all, it feels way better being healthy. Like I said, I used to be overweight once upon a time, out of energy, all this other stuff taking place in life. I like how I feel now, so I don't want to go back to that. So that's one thing. And I know I could continue if I continue this lifestyle. See, just like if you could raise up your vibration, you can lower it also. So let's don't be like you just reached and I have arrived and you can't go backwards. Yes, if you, in other words, I know how to be overweight. I did it before. It ain't like the memory left you. You know what it takes to be, so you're feeling healthier. It sucks to have a day where you don't feel good and you missed your whole day. You want to live the fullest out of life. So when I'm traveling and doing the things I'm doing things that I never imagined because I got the energy and time to do it.
So what are you doing?
Actually, I'm walking through the continent of Africa. So this is about the sixth country right now. I started from South Africa, went through Botswana, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Tanzania. Now I'm in Uganda. But to do that walk and have that energy, I would have never had that before.
Right.
I couldn't even imagine it.
And to do that and not be eating.
And not be eating. And you're picking up, and that's what exercise.
Is proof.
Right.
And then when I mentioned to somebody, you know, that you're doing this, they said, oh, he must be really, really skinny. And I said, no, man, the dude is buff. You know?
Right.
Like, we're around the same age.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you look like in good shape, and I know you gym some, right? You'll do your push-ups and,
right,
and
right.
different things,
which
is contradictory to what people would expect or think from a breatharian.
And there's a lot of
and you're using you're also doing something much more physical than what 99% of the population in the world does.
Absolutely. Now, when people hear this stuff, they don't know how much time and energy I'm putting in to creating this for my body. Like, it's about 11 o'clock in the morning right now, you know, here as we're talking. So I've already meditated a couple hours a day already. I was already working out, did a big walk, you know, without the backpack, because I'm going to do a bigger one later with the backpack. So whether if I'm doing it or not, this is the lifestyle that you're living, and it's sustainable. So you're putting a lot of energy, whether you're doing anything or not, that's what you do. When I travel to the different countries, it ain't like the lifestyle stopped. And I'm going to wait till I get back, and that's why I'll pick it up again. Everywhere I go, that lifestyle go with you. So that's what people got to keep in mind. So when you take a trip, in other words, I can do my margaritas here, but when I get back, and I'll pick up my routine again.
Yeah.
The routine is going with you.
Got it.
That's the breatharian knowledge. So of course you're going to be stronger. Like we talked about, is exercise necessary? Well, if you want to do things that's going to take physical energy, yeah, get yourself there, because you got muscle. It's up to you to develop it. Everybody got a six-pack.
Some is buried.
Some is just buried under potential energy.
Yeah. my goal is to have, I think if I were to become a breatharian, my first goal would be to have my six-pack back. You know? For sure.
Right.
Yeah, and then if I can even, like, you still have full head of hair. I don't know. I mean, I was thinking maybe we could do something with that. You know?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's
that
all
would
energy.
Be nice,
again.
but I don't. Again, it's all energy. But
and like some guy asked me one time.
Kidding aside, it would be beautiful.
He said, Elitom, how do I get muscle? How did you get the muscle? And I said, well, pick up that chair. Picked it up, put it back down. Pick it up, put it back down. All right, that's what you start doing. You know, but it was, even though it sounds basic, there's work you got to.
But something, and this might be analogous to your methodology, something I just learned is that the best bodybuilders do something so different than what we would expect. So we think, lifting, right? And getting that, and the best bodybuilders have these routines of doing the negatives or holding it,
right,
versus the actual lift. um, and they've gotten the best results.
Right.
So maybe that is an attestment to efficiency when we're talking about efficiency, which is analogous to what you're talking about with efficiency.
Well,
from
see how much knowledge
energy.
we got now? It's just like in the 70s and 80s. Okay, I'm telling how old I am. And we get those bodybuilding magazines. It was no pain, no gain, 7 days a week. Those men was lifting. But then as time went on and I was living my life, it was about the early 2000s. And that's when I figured I had to start exercising because I let myself go. So I get the Men's Fitness magazine, and they was talking about the science of bodybuilding. It evolved. So now they got routines where you can do 4 to 5 times a week. But I had this body like a Greek god. But it's talking about the science behind it.
AKA efficiency.
Efficiency. That's what it was all about.
And as time goes on and science gets better and methodologies get better, we will be more and more efficient.
Here we go. And I grabbed a routine out of that magazine, and within a month's time, somebody gave a compliment. The body looks good. That's it. That actually works. It was all about efficiency. I didn't overdo it, didn't burn myself out, but it was just consistency and you carrying out the plan.
And would you say that this would work in the Breatharian methodology?
That's what it's all about. Efficiency again. You actually gave more meditation. I was doing the Qigong today, get the energy in there, good walk, breath, all of that kicks in. And all of that you're dealing with the laws of physics again.
And if you were talking to people who do lots of yoga, what would you tell them?
Meditate. And the reason why I say this is because I was in India for 2 years and I've been there 5 times. And one thing I noticed, even though there's yoga all over the place in the culture, so as I'm teaching the Breatharian message, one thing I noticed from a yoga practitioner, it's just me saying it, as we're holding positions, they're used to doing this. Because they're used to stretching into it, breathing into it, because they're feeling something there. So I had to teach again and say, you don't move. See, they're used to doing the asanas, the stretching, and that's good. But that's the warm-up. The stretching is the warm-up for you to be still. So the yoga community missed the stillness. I'm saying this from my experience being around the world.
Yeah, I don't have enough experience.
That's why a lot more yoga people should be breatharians. But the reason being,
and
they ain't
what would
still.
you say to the meditation community? Because just like there's so many methods to yoga, there's so many methods to meditation, like transcendental. And so, is there a meditation that's, let's say, people are familiar with, that's more closer to what you teach?
Well, let's say it. First of all, even though we got all these different types of yogas, all these different types of meditations, there's only one meditation. All right, that's how we started.
Okay.
And what all of them got in common is to get relaxed and get in a comfortable position. So that's what all of them got in common. And then number 2, all of them's goal is to work with energy. All of them's goal is to work with energy. And this is why we say to gain more energy. So one thing I did around the world too, going to all these places, I've been to some high-level communities. They're doing the meditations, going through the motions, because that's how everybody was taught. But now we got to explain what's taking place when you're doing it.
Kind of like when I'm praying, but if it's okay for me to understand, let's say, my Kabbalah, my Zohar, which is also knowing or seeing or visualizing angels,
Right.
going back and forth from my soul,
Right.
up to wherever that prayer is taking place. So that's it that would be like my analogy.
Right. So somebody could come along and what's taking place. Like when we do mudras, I see people going through the motions all the time. So I do a full class, like put your hands like this. Now feel how it changes your breath when you do this to this. And people be amazed.
Right. So it's meditation with a visualization of what is taking place.
What is taking place. So that now you got this tool and now you know why you're using it. So from my
You're
experience,
not just doing a routine because that's what you've been taught, but you actually understand the why.
Yep. And from
the
my experience,
the meat of what you're doing and what's actually taking place
yeah,
that you're not seeing with your eyes.
exactly. So from my experience, a lot of people were just going through the motions, but not understanding what's taking place, and that's in like 90% out there, right? But that's how they were taught. So even when we say meditation is medication, now when I first said that statement, you got a lot of people. I've been meditating a long time, but I got this and that and that. What are you talking about, Elitom? But once they hear me explain it, we go through the motions. Then it started making sense.
The more you understand why you're meditating, what is taking place, then the more you can use that meditation to facilitate the healing.
Exactly. You'll appreciate it. You really appreciate it, and you know how to use
But will
that
it
tool.
work
Absolutely.
even if you don't understand why or the what?
Well, a lot of people run into that, but you still don't stick with it. It's sort of like a woman one time, we was doing Tai Chi, and her shoulder was like this when she came to class. But as we're going through the motion, about 6 weeks go past, you see her shoulder healing. Just from doing that movement like that. But over a period of time, she disappeared. And months later, while I saw her shoulder was back again. So she didn't understand what was taking place. So it's easy to fall back into a rut again. You didn't understand that was the energy. It was how you was placing your body in that new ritual. And if you didn't understand that that's taking place, it's easy to go back to your old habits. Whole different ball game. See, it's one thing what we say, it's powerful to know how to heal yourself. That's a powerful thing. You actually healed yourself. But the next powerful thing is, even if you get sick, you know why you got sick, and you know how to get out of it.
Right.
I ate too much cake, I admit. I've been messing around for a year.
So, as a result of knowing the why, then you can be more focused on the healing.
Yeah.
You don't. It's like not saying let's try all these medications, but the why gives you let's take this particular.
You're taking
medication.
responsibility. So even if you got sick, you know why. Let's don't act like you didn't. You know what I mean? I had a buddy, for instance, a good buddy of mine. He knows the knowledge. But he did that. Took a year off, doing whatever. And that's okay. That's your life. That's your experience. But instead of blaming people because he lost energy now, is not as efficient, he went to go heal himself. It took a period of time. He knew what did it, of him playing around, but he came back a new man again. That's how efficient the body is. It'll do it, but you got to know the knowledge on how to do it.
Right. It's better than guessing.
Yep. You don't know what happened.
Because you can guess, but you might A, miss the mark, B, get very unmotivated by missing the mark. So it is important to know why and what.
Absolutely. Oh, this is good.
Okay.
Knowledge is power. Or my people are being destroyed for lack of knowledge. You just didn't know. That's what we call ignorance. You just didn't know.
Right. Right.
Oh, man.
I'm still contemplating the thought of, being easier, being more good to my body in order to achieve better health.
Right.
And by minimizing my input into my body and
Right.
also focusing and knowing what and why I am meditating, that I can really be a healthier human being.
And this is the good way to look at it. This is the good way to look at it. Some people are stronger in certain areas than others. Everybody's different. Like, for instance, some people it's easy to do a diet change than others. Some people it's easier to start out exercising. So some people will start out exercising and see these improvements, and then they pick up the diet change later. Some people will do the diet change and see improvements, and they'll pick up the exercise later. Some people is good at meditation. I've seen them, but they don't have the diet and they don't have the exercise, but they're good at meditating. So they'll pick up those other components later. So whatever you're strong at, you pick up that one first. That one first. And then the next one, you take a look at it.
Yeah, like for myself, I know if I want to be disciplined, I just get into the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I'm in the gym and I start feeling good,
Yep.
then I say, I don't really want to eat this, or I don't want to eat late at night right now.
Right. Then the other one will kick on.
Then the other one will click in later. Yeah.
Then you look at the other one, that'll kick in. So you see how the chain reaction? And people make their mistake that when I give them that foundation, I'm jumping into all of it at once. And it can be overwhelming because that person wasn't into that before. And then when they come up short, then you start hating yourself, hating the process. Maybe the knowledge was wrong, and it had nothing to do with it. The person just tried to jump in too fast, and it was overwhelming.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, maybe one of the last questions I have for you. I'll always have questions, but for the audience and for me,
Mm-hmm.
what can I do today to start manifesting the Breatharian concepts?
Oh man, what can you do today to manifest the Breatharian concepts? Well, it's a beautiful day for number one. So that thought, the beautiful thought that you're here, as long as your feet is on the ground, you got a chance. So that's step number one.
Okay.
Now, step number two, depending on whether you take it, because that's a vague question, and I don't know your whole lifestyle. But it could be, well, let me do something differently for food intake later. To see how that experience is. And look at it as an experience.
Eat a bit healthier.
Yeah, let me try it this evening.
So then, if I find myself meditating more in a way that's, let's say, in line with what you do,
Right.
will I find my desire for food decrease?
Oh, well, this is a good one, and I got to say it. Because most gurus and something, that we used to use that term, they always talk about the positive of something, but they don't talk about the other things that could come out of it that people go through and then they'll get trapped. Now, to give you an example, this actually happened. I was in India teaching this one community, and I was telling them to take it easy and slow, but everybody's jumping in, but we're dealing with a lot of energy work. I mean, all day long, long stretches of time. So as the energy is picking up, you're going to build up an appetite. Because your organs, all your organs know is getting more energy. So it's just like if you went to the gym and did a good workout, you might have a good appetite coming from the gym. That's being real.
That's being real. Got it. For me, it is.
That's being real. So the body, again, if it's getting more energy from meditation and cultivating itself, and you're trying to become a breatharian, you might think something is wrong because you built up this appetite. Ain't nothing wrong. That's just the way it is.
Is that a signal to go ahead and now meditate in order to feed yourself energetically?
Well, you already just did.
But now let's say you have hunger.
Well, it's not hunger. You just feel a feeling of emptiness. You're not used to feeling like that. So you do want to, how should I say, I don't want to use the word dumb it down, but you are. You're dumbing it down with something that it's okay. You're going to go through that phase. You're not used to feeling like that. It's sort of like riding a surfboard.
So hunger, because I know when I'm hungry, I still feel clean, feel good.
Right.
And I like the feeling of being a little bit hungry.
Right.
But when I get too hungry, I start to lose my energy completely.
Yeah, that's somewhere else.
So looking at hunger as something that can pass by as well. In other words, not giving it too much. Hunger is a normal biological feeling, but we don't necessarily have to succumb to it.
Well, there's 3 types of hungers that I tell people. There's 2 types, but the third one we'll get into. You start noticing, is the hunger coming from the body or is it coming from the head? 9 times out of 10, it's going to come from the head.
Really?
It ain't got nothing to do with the body. That's what we call emotional eating.
But what about when my energy crashes? Let's say my blood sugar changes.
Well, if that starts taking place, that's your body talking to you if that's taking place. Because there was people I had to say, go eat something or go drink something. You're going to it too fast and you're going into it wrong. So like we said, this is over a prolonged period of time. You shouldn't even get yourself to that level. You know what I mean?
Would you say that this would be a cure for, let's not even say diabetics, would you say, would this be a cure for pre-diabetics?
Oh, pre-diabetics. That means they ain't
Diabetics, let's say a lot of them are already, it may be too far gone. Maybe.
maybe.
Depending if it's pills or injections or what level they're at. Because I see a lot of diabetic patients. But I think most of the people walking around are pre-diabetic.
Well, check this out. Mostly every chronic disease out there have gotten beaten by somebody. Not the group, but somebody beat it. So it is a mindset. Now, one thing about holistic medicine or holistic lifestyle, you cannot guarantee a person that that's going to happen to them. You know?
Right. No guarantees for that.
No guarantees for that.
Correct.
So it depends on the mentality of the person, in a nutshell. Now, the way I feel being on this lifestyle, there's no way in the world I should catch high blood pressure. But that's me talking. And there was a time I had it, but I knew how I got it.
From becoming fat.
Pizzas. Right.
Right.
Every other day,
So
egg McMuffins from McDonald's.
It's
I know
not
what
a
happened.
foreign world to you. You just left that world behind.
I left that dimension. Dimension of thought. See where I'm getting at?
Yep.
So some people, they on that level, they can get out of it and cure themselves if they get the right mindset. Because if the mind changes, the body will follow. So that's what it boils down to. And the more dense it is, or the more far gone a person is, it's going to take a lot longer and a lot more work than somebody who's just borderline.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm good. If you have any closing statements that you
Oh man, this is
wanna
beautiful
say,
once again.
But I think you've taken my consciousness to the next level.
Right.
I can't say I got everything that I want, but I could tell you that I'm along the process.
Oh, you're along the
And
process.
then I would like for myself,
Mm-hmm.
and as a chiropractor who deals with many patients with many types of issues, because
Right.
we can't stop not giving our patients what we know to be true or what we feel.
Right.
It comes out of our pores and it ends up spilling into how we talk to our patients, how we coach them, how we deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you one attracts a certain type of patient as well.
Right.
So for me, I see that I'm progressing.
Mm-hmm.
But,
And that's what it's all about.
but boy, yeah, I could see I got a journey, yeah.
And what I would tell people, and I think about this all the time, the journey is so much fun. In the beginning, it seemed like, oh man, I got work to do. But over a period of time, living on light is fun. This is so much fun.
Wow.
But it becomes fun. You understand? And I like what Ronnie Coleman said. He's like one of the best bodybuilders around. But he was in the game for years before he won his first Mr. Olympia. But he said, that first Mr. Olympia win, that's when I started to take it serious. And you'll ask yourself, what was you doing before? Now, he won, of course, so he took it serious. But to him, now I took it serious. So even for me, I've been on this journey a long time, but it just hit me not too long ago. Now it's time for me to take it serious.
Whole nother level.
Oh, this is something,
nother
ain't it?
level.
We've been playing around. Now it's time for me to take it serious. So don't, like we said, don't seek the power will seek you. So it ain't about becoming a breatharian, just
Oh, it means
get healthy.
don't chase it, but become a vessel to receive.
Exactly. And as you go along, the next level will pop into your mind. Now I think I'm ready to take it seriously. You did all this work. But
Yeah.
this is awesome.
You know, I have a brother who's, let's say, your age, a couple
Right.
of years older than me, and his lifestyle was much different than mine.
Mm-hmm.
And as I see him now struggling, as I was biking through Italy, he was suffering with, clogged arteries.
Wow.
prostate problems and different issues that now I see, you know, when you have a brother who's a few years older, it's a little bit of like, hey, you know,
Wake up call.
wake up call.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is my lifestyle has always been very different than his.
Yeah.
But I've always taken it very seriously. He's
Mhm.
only taking it seriously now
Right.
that he got sick,
Mhm.
where I've always taken it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know that when I was in my 40s, that I was like, okay, I got to start being aware. Now that I'm in my 50s, now I have to be serious. Otherwise, the
Yep.
60s come.
Right.
Am I going to be an unhealthy 60?
Oh,
Or
man.
am I going to be a crazy healthy?
That's what it boils down to. What you do now is going to dictate the future.
Right.
And there was some woman who said that speech in California. She's in her later 60s. She looks good. She took care of herself. But she said, man, I can't play around like I used to. I got to take it seriously if I want to continue.
Yeah.
So even what she's doing now, she got to tighten up. That's wild, ain't it?
I mean, look, I moved to Uganda to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I ride my bike every day. My yoga studio is just upstairs.
Right. Oh, and I'm experiencing your thing. This is good.
Yeah, you know, we got the mushroom garden on the other side of it. You know, I do everything I can. I don't live in Kampala. I live in Entebbe, where I feel I have good, clean air.
Mm-hmm.
So I created my. I manifested what I wanted to be healthy. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
the timing of you coming into my life at this point, it's kind of me manifesting the law of attraction as well, and saying, okay, I'm ready for my next step as well.
Absolutely. There's no coincidence. It
And
all
then,
kicked in.
not the plug, but the plug. My you know, since this will be watched, is Ehud. It's who you met.
Right.
Who's from Israel. I think you met him in Israel, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were doing
A retreat.
You were doing a retreat in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So before COVID, or I think at the beginning of COVID, Ehud moved to here to get away, and he ended up working at a fish farm. And then I was asked to be a part of the fish farm, and then I met Ehud.
Right.
And we immediately connected, and then now we have bought 12 acres on an island. And it started out when we bought it that it was just for us.
Right.
To have a getaway, to have our clean environment.
Mm-hmm.
He's very into Wim Hof method and ice baths and different, you know, healing in other areas.
Right.
And I have my other areas.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow we are manifesting a healing retreat, a retreat center. And that on these 12 acres, and hopefully it'll even expand more, that each week we'll have a different theme. And that's where we're going to bring you out.
Oh man, that's going to be good.
And we're going to have a retreat on the island.
Here we go.
With a 270 view of the water. And
right.
I mean,
dealing with high vibrational energy.
Yep, and there's, you know, we're living off the grid. There's no electrical wires to interfere with us. There's no
whole nother ball game.
A whole nother ball game.
This is it.
And so yeah, we're looking very forward to manifesting our next step.
See, we're in the age of some serious longevity. So I don't even want to scare people by saying immortality.
Yeah.
However, there's people working on it on this planet. No matter how they're going about it, the idea is there.
The idea is there, yeah.
Why wouldn't it be?
Right.
That's how we think.
I was going to address the immortality issue and how you felt about it, but I also felt that might be extrapolating a little too far.
Too far right now.
But
longevity, we could talk.
I'm into longevity. Yeah, maybe we'll leave the immortality to the next time, because that's a big one.
That's a big one.
But longevity is obviously the step onto the way to immortality.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we're excited. I know I know that you've done 6 countries in Africa. I know that Uganda is becoming more and more special to you.
Oh, yeah, this is awesome.
I know you're going to see more of Africa,
Right.
but I'm hoping that I planted some seeds for you to say, "Wow, this Uganda, I gotta."
Oh,
come
big
back."
time. Big time. This is beautiful.
I'm manifesting that to happen.
So this is good once again, and we hope people got something out of this. We was going step by step, and this is what it's all about.
Great.
Energy,
Thank you.
frequency, and vibration.
Thank you for your time.
Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings. Great.
La la. Oh, we did it.